Welcome to Subramani. I just did one video on why we can't invest like a Buffett or an Ambani or a Tata, right? So this is saying what kind of an edge can we really build, or what the people tell you that you can build as an edge. So your bank RM or your brokerage RM will tell you, sir, there is a lot of edge that you can build by investing in small illiquid companies or penny stocks, and which you can make a lot of money. Look at A, B, C, D, E. May be true, may not be true. Largely the people who tell you this story are the people who want to sell that stock to you. Largely that is what happens. So is it true? Yes, it is partially true, because I realized that I have made more money in stocks like MRF, Procter and Gamble, Lakshmi Machine Works, which are not really within very easy access for the fund manager. So yes, you can, but the question is which part of the journey you get in and which part you get out. I got into MRF at 800 rupees. Yes, believe me, 800 rupees, and I got out at 59,000. Right, I was happy with 59,000. Then I watched it go up. Yes, I did not participate after that, but 800 to 59,000 is not a bad bet at all. So that was enough for me. But how much will you put? Right, the question is what percentage of your portfolio will you put? Even if you get an offer like this, you'll put 1%, 2%, hardly more than that. You're not going to put 20% of your net worth into a share which might go up in the future. And yes, so MRF, I must have made this money over 10-15 years. I'm not even sure exactly start date and end date. But yes, 859,000, I'm sure, no split, no bonus, no nothing. So it is just 800 to 59,000 plus the dividends, which were reasonably decent on a 800 rupee price. On the 59,000 there was no dividend yield, but on 800 there was a decent dividend yield. So equity share plus dividend yield, and then sale at 59,000. I'm not cribbing, I'm just saying. So one such transaction, two such transactions, Procter and Gamble even today it is at 15,000. Right, so Gillette, some of these transactions, yes, but how much money will you put? Right, so largely you will put into large companies where you know that lot of scrutiny is there. So an HDFC Bank or a Reliance or a State Bank, these are the companies into which you would put money more bravely rather than these so-called small companies, except those who are selling it to you make money, so therefore they are selling it to you. You can take a slightly different risk compared to what your fund manager can take. That is true, because you are faster than the fund manager. Fund manager has to make a note, he has to get it approved, he has to pass it through the investment committee and all that, but you could have reacted faster. That sometimes works as an edge, sometimes it works against you, right? So even if you get such deals like saying this 10 का 20 हो जाएगा और 1 का 200 हो जाएगा, the question is how much money will you put? Suppose somebody tells you that Reliance Capital is a great buy at 10 bucks, it's going to reach 50. How much will you put? Ask yourself that question. My answer is you shouldn't put anything. But at best you will put 1,000 or 2,000 shares, that is 20,000 rupees. You will not risk more than that. Depending even on your total net worth being 10 times more, your mind will block you saying, this shit group, I've never made money, why should I enter this, right? So that's a very good block. So even though technically speaking it can go from 10 to 40 or 10 to 400, they're capable of doing whatever, but how much will you put? That is what will decide how much money you're going to make. The answer is you shouldn't put more than 10,000 rupees or maybe 20,000 rupees if you have a net worth in excess of 5 crores. Anything less, you don't, because like Mahatma Gandhi says, you should enjoy the journey as much as you enjoy the destination. So even if you make money in Reliance Capital, you're 20,000 or let's say you put 2,000 shares you bought at 10 bucks, so that was 20,000 rupees. 20,000 becomes 40,000. What impact is it going to have on your 5 crore portfolio or on your 10 crore portfolio, right? So the question is how much will you put as a percentage of your net worth? Don't see in absolute terms. In absolute terms say, wow, my money doubled. Yes, but how much did you put? Simply because you did not want to take more risk. So yes, you can take more risk compared to your fund manager, but will you, should you? That's a different thing, right? I wouldn't think you should take risk in your portfolio just because you're going to get a dramatically high return, or you say 3-4% of my portfolio is earmarked for buying all this junk and trading in them, but however when the percentage increases I'll remove the profit and put it somewhere else. You do all that, but still it will not be a substantial portion of your wealth, so it will not have too much of an impact on you, right? Then what kind of another big edge that you can get is like a senior fund manager tells me is time. I can sit on my investments over very long periods of time. So whether it is an MRF or whether it is a Coromandel International, I could sit on it for very long periods of time. So Coromandel International today in my portfolio is 35 years old, right? So 35 years it has been in my portfolio at some ridiculous cost and a fantastic IRR and decent dividends simply because of the long holding period. Now that is something which you can do, which is very different from what a fund manager can do, who has to pay quarterly dividends or keep announcing that he is growing at a fantastic pace and things like that. He is under that kind of a pressure under which you and I are not there. So that can be one huge edge. You could do one-off transactions, like you get a transaction, you do it, again you put a small amount of money. You could make that kind of transaction is not available to the fund manager, it is available only to you. Maybe it's a little bit of all that I said, some upgrade going to happen, some inside information, somebody tells you, the chairman confirms it, or all these things falling in place. The question is ultimately how much will you invest, and that will decide how much money you make. Till that happens, you have to believe in efficient market hypothesis. Efficient market works for 99.99% of the investors and maybe even more for investment advisors. Stick to your index, stick to understanding every investment in your portfolio. Have you bought this for your daughter's wedding? Have you bought this for your daughter's education? Have you bought this for your retirement? Have you bought this for your son buying a clinic when he becomes a doctor? What have you invested? Why have you invested? You should know that. Suppose you had bought a flat somewhere and you said this is for my son's education. Then your son got good marks and he did his MBBS from some local, from a good school near your house. So you didn't spend as much as you thought you will spend. So you have that house intact, you had not sold it. Great reason to sell that house and buy your son a clinic. Otherwise, if you think that you need the cash, then sell that house and invest it somewhere. I'm not talking in terms of timing, etc. I'm just talking in terms of downsizing the portfolio, because once your children have grown up and they've left, you then need money only for your retirement. So be focused, see what you want, know every bit of investment that you have made. That can be an edge. Time can be an edge, because a fund manager may be pressurized by quarterly results which you are not. How you can handle risk is your edge, right? These are the edges. But if you look at the edges which a Buffett or an Ambani or a Tata get, that edge is not available to you. So there is no point in saying, oh, that's a fantastic deal, he got the whole of CNBC for a song just because he had lent money. That's great, but that deal was not available to you. So even if the deal, you saw the deal happening, you couldn't have done anything. You couldn't have said, oh, don't take money from him, I will give you 4,000 crores, right? So we are not Ambani, we are not Adani, we are not Buffett, we are nothing of that sort. So we have to create our own edge. Till you know what is your edge and you can create it and you can actually see a quantum jump in your returns, till then what you can do is index. Don't worry too much. If you have a decent advisor, half decent advisor, who can pick up funds for you, let him do it. Watch him for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, see whether index makes more money or his suggestions make more money. If the index is still having a 1%, 2% edge, just give up on him and go and do your indexing. You will always learn and come back to the markets. That's fine. You will still have private investments. You may have bought an LMW, you may have bought an MRF. Just hold on to it. But other than that, indexing makes sense for most other people. Thank you.